Hey tubers, welcome back. So this adventure I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to call this thing the Monster Pit Bike. I bought this thing, it was an offer up deal. I think I paid $80 for it. And I do have the plastics and the gas tank, but the wiring came in already worked on, right? It did come with a carburetor, though the carburetor was no good. And at one point I went as far as getting this thing running. What was wrong with it was it had this back tire on it, no sprocket. It was using this as an axle. Anybody see the problem? And it was using a second one of these as a swing arm pivot. Once again, any issues? For spacers on the axle, they were using 1/2-inch Craftsman sockets. Install this the correct way, and there it was. So that's the way I got it, and I paid $80 for it. Once again, I got it home. Once again, I do have the plastics and the seat, and I did manage to get the engine to start up. It had a kind of a slip-on exhaust system, and that's floating around here somewhere also. After I got it running, I started to do some research, and I discovered very, very quickly how expensive the components are for the back wheel. So I kind of slowed down and kind of waited and watched eBay for a while, and eventually I found, what did I do, lose the other back wheel? I found another back wheel for it, and the other back wheel came with the hardware and so forth. I ended up buying this. This is the pivot that goes through here, and basically what was left to be done is I needed to put it together, and I needed to work out the spacing, and that's kind of where things got held up the last time. Fast forward to about 2 weeks ago, and I bought this back wheel, including brakes and sprockets and spacers and the whole shooting match. I got that at the flea market, and it was only $15. So with that, I said, well, let me get this whole pile of stuff kind of put everything near each other, right? Find all the bolts and the swing arm and so forth and spacers. Let me find all this stuff. The other wheel. Yeah, this is the wheel I bought on eBay for, I think I paid $75 for it. And if I recall correctly, I think it came with the axle and the black spacers. Anyhow, so it's to the point where, like any project, to put the whole thing together, you need to get all the parts in one place. This bike came in with a real multitude of problems. I did get the engine started on my portable CDI box, and it ran good. There's no issues with the engine. The clutch was fine. Hopefully it's still fine. It shifted fine. All of that was good. So big pluses there. But silly little things like this handle is broken off for the front brake, which means I gotta buy another front brake assembly. Did not come with anything in the back for a disc brake, so another thing to buy. You know, it didn't have the pivot shaft for the back suspension. So anyhow, I think I finally got everything. But this bike, from a learning point of view, there's really a lot of stuff here. What I'm going to show everyone is, first we're going to wire it, and I think I'm going to go with a standard pit bike ignition system. I don't think I'm going to bother doing anything with the 12 volt, and this one came equipped with an electric starter. I don't think I'm going to bother with that. Normally pit bikes, you kick start, normally they don't have headlights on them, and you just use them, you know, around the driveway, around the property, and so forth. So I'm not going to mess with the 12 volt system. So once again, that'll be your standard pit bike wire harness. We'll go through how to install it and make it work, you know, the switches and all of that. I'm not going to put a key switch on it. It's just going to have the handlebar switch, and that'll be that. So that's one thing. I'll go through it in more detail, but if you find one of these pit bikes and you say, oh, I'm going to bring it back from its well-worn condition, there's a bunch of bearing sizes. The wheels, the axles come in a couple of different sizes for thickness, so to speak, thick and thin. But we'll measure those up and talk about them, what size the axles are, and all of that. Because there's a lot of considerations. There are a lot of parts for these things out on the major auction site, and even the other site, the major retail site, has some parts for these things out there. So the parts are plentiful, but it doesn't do you much good if you order the wrong ones and have to go through the battle of returning them, or you have to go through a double expense ordering the wrong ones before you can order the right ones. So if we get through that, I think it'll be good too. A lot of folks are going to say, why are you bothering with this pit bike? You have a whole load of Hondas floating around. Anyone saying that probably has not ridden one of these things. These things are just a joy to ride. They are, you know, even myself, I'm about 5'8", 200 pounds. These things have more than enough power to haul me about. And as a matter of fact, one has to pay attention that you don't kind of get dumped off the back and watch the thing go over the horizon without you. They're strong, they're fast, very maneuverable, they're light. You can pick it up and put it down. You could pick it up and put it in the back of your truck. These things are a real joy to own. So that's the next project. I want to get this thing set up in such a way that it doesn't leave this garage until it's done. So you might kind of see it moving around a little bit, but I want to keep it in the garage here until it's done. It's just so much easier to store these things as complete. It's scary when you have loose bolts and nuts and axles and shims and all this stuff floating around. It's very, very easy to use them for another project, or lose them, or have them fall and roll behind something. And next thing you know, to complete a project, you're back on eBay buying more parts. So I really want to go in a straight line with this thing and get it done. Okay, that's it for today's adventure. I want you all to get out there, have a bunch of fun, enjoy your days, and take care. We'll catch up with you soon. Bye.